You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show.
First thing everyone hears.
Here comes the sun. I say
I feel like we need to have like a Glee AFTERBUZZ karaoke night because we do this every week.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
I mean, it would be amazing. So,
Okay, I know you're down for that because you have an amazing voice.
well, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another Glee after show for you. I hope you all enjoy our sing-alongs. We certainly do here in the studio. This is season 5, episode 2, and it's part 2 of the Beatles episodes, which is super fun. It's been a lot of good Beatles songs. It's called Tina in the Sky with Diamonds, which I kind of love that title. I think that's awesome. And
I'm surprised they didn't sing that tonight.
I know, it's a little odd, but
Tina in the sky.
it kind of fits.
Okay, the karaoke's not until Friday.
I'm excited for it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Stephanie Wenger.
I'm Roxy Striar.
I'm Sarah Mendoza.
And I'm Marisa Serafini.
You hanging out in the booth tonight. What's up, Marissa?
Yeah, I'm just engineering, but fortunately I saw this episode, so I'm all good.
Marissa's literally playing God tonight all over the place, so props to her.
Yeah, I know. We need to give her a little round of applause before we begin
thank
talking
you.
about this episode.
I'm so glad the Glee gang is all back together this week.
I know.
Whoop, whoop.
What is this?
So much fun. I know.
I'm over here. I'm over here.
A long distance high five, Marissa. It's
Yes.
cool. Don't even worry. We should
all
jump
good.
into the episode, though, before we go
Oh,
off.
right, that's why we're here, isn't
Right?
it?
I mean, seems like a thing that we should do. It was all about prom tonight, I think we can say.
It's all about the Asians.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
Represent.
Asian represent.
Okay, get it, girls.
So, yeah, what did you think? I feel like we haven't had a prom episode in a while on Glee. It's been at least a season or two.
It's just very weird to see it at the top of the season because we're starting midway through the year.
Yeah.
So I almost didn't feel prepared for it.
Right.
That being said, I thought that the episode was really good. I preferred this one to last week's Beatles episode, and I think if we just keep going up a little bit every time, we're going to make it back to Glee Season 1.
I mean, there were moments, there were glimmers, I felt like, of Glee Season 1 tonight, and I'll mention them when we
Yeah,
talk about
I
the
wrote down-
performances. And I was like, there's these moments where I'm like, oh, we're back to it. We found that, like, golden special
Sparkle.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other moments, I agree, could have been a little better. But I overall enjoyed the episode, and it was weird because I kept saying to Sarah, who I watched the episode with, isn't it homecoming? Like, how is this prom? Because it's October. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like it should be homecoming.
But that being said, we talked about how we needed our optimist back in the house. So give me something good.
Oh, hello. Well, actually, this is not going to be optimistic.
No,
what I'm saying about
what?
my prom. You know what I didn't like is how Tina totally dumped Sam. Like,
oh, that was a harsh beginning. to
Okay,
it.
okay, you guys. The episode started with Sam saying, it's my senior prom, so I kind of wish I was going with someone I really cared about.
Oh yeah,
I don't feel bad for him when that's how the episode started. I wanted to smack him in the face.
Yeah, well, I took it more so as like he wished he was like in love, like other people who are going to prom together.
It wasn't
are.
with somebody I really was in love with, somebody I really cared about.
But he also instantly,
Ouch.
I mean, as bad as I felt for kind of both of them in that scenario, he
Yeah.
did go ahead and fall in love with somebody else. We'll talk about that in a
True.
bit, and kind of fought for her. But Tina, it was all about Tina and fighting to the death. Like, we haven't seen Tina be like this before, I felt
Yeah.
like.
Feisty.
I like it though, because we're always saying that Tina needs to step up for herself, be
Yeah.
a diva sometimes, and she definitely brought that tonight. And I think it's really because she's really the only senior female still there.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true. And I know we'll get to this later when we get to our song section, but people still don't seem to fully respect her when we get to the
Yeah.
beginning part of Revolution.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
You know what I find so entertaining, and it's so true with how high schoolers are, is they take campaigning for being prom queen and king so seriously.
Did you guys have that at your high school?
Absolutely.
Nope.
We didn't have that.
Nope.
We had homecoming.
Well, I went to an all-girls school, so it was a little bit different. I mean, they campaigned sort of, but it wasn't like, the full-fledged, like, the king and the queen are running together or whatever.
But you had a prom queen?
We did have prom queens and homecoming queens
Yeah.
when we came together for the dance. Like, it was...
Yeah,
It
there was
was
like a homecoming court, and there was like
Yeah.
a parade, and my school was fully embraced.
And every
this whole-
person votes?
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me.
I think
Like the claws are coming out.
Yeah.
I think that happens with the prom king and queen. I think that happens mostly in bigger schools. That a lot of, I come from a very small area, and my high school was only like 200 in total.
I had
And
2,000.
we didn't
Wow.
have any.
Wow. Okay.
And you didn't have...
Okay, that being said, we
Wow.
did have senior superlatives, and I ran for biggest party animal, but I lost by 3 votes, and it was really sad.
Whoa!
well-
3
Well, the Glee
Daggers.
AFTERBUZZ crew can give you that superlative if you really want it.
Thank you. Shots for everyone.
Yeah, I think you do take the cake on that one for
I
us.
really appreciate it. I really do.
I know. Well, Kitty kind of transformed herself tonight, because we always saw her as like the mean girl, and she didn't go and run to Tina's aid. I know. And I knew that was going to be something that was going to set you off.
WTF?
I know.
And she really had time to think about it. She looked
Really?
up, she looked down, she looked up, she looked
Yeah.
down.
I
She
know.
thought, should I? Nah. Like, what's wrong with you?
And it had like 40 seconds of slow mo, being like, do something, not just stand there and go help her,
Yeah.
Marissa
go
and I
push
were
her out of the
literally
way.
screaming. We
Yeah.
watched together and we were screaming at the
Yeah.
TV.
The scene took way too long. Like, if you were gonna drag it out that much, like, you bet your butt she better save her.
Right.
That's what I kept.
Right.
But I also,
Thank gosh for you.
I know, I completely agree that I wanted her to run in and save her at the last second. Or even get splashed instead of her. That was kind of
Yeah.
what I was thinking of.
Right. I guess that Glee felt like it was too out of character for her. It was not out of character for her to give her dress, but too out of character to save
That's-
her and risk her own self.
But that's what I couldn't figure out was where is that line? Like,
Right.
is that too nice
Right.
if you're saving her on stage in a public forum? But I'll give you my dress and then I'll wear a T-shirt for the rest of prom. Like, I wasn't sure, like, why that was the decision of where that line was made.
Right.
I think they set that up so Kitty purposely wouldn't save Tina, but ultimately try to redeem herself by giving the dress, just to stray the audience away that she is becoming the nice one, and we can start building this new character, Bree, as the mean one.
Like, so it's not an abrupt transition for
Right.
Kitty.
Yeah.
It's more so like she still struggles with it, kind of, but now she's coming more towards that side.
She had a redeeming moment tonight, so the other mean character can just
Right.
be
Yeah.
ultimately
And
mean.
we should mention that Bree, Erin Westbrook, we mentioned last week would be in studio with us, but she is actually filming tonight, so she...
Which is great for her.
yeah, great.
Unfortunate for us.
Exactly, but I'm sure she'll be back around here soon, so we'll keep you posted on dates and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. She was the instigator in that whole situation tonight.
Yeah,
Girl had like it going on. Honestly, loved her character. Think she plays the bitch really well.
Yes.
Hoping when we meet her, she's a little different in real
I've
life.
heard wonderful things about her.
Yes,
so.
as did I. But she really, I thought she owned that character. You know when you
Yeah.
can tell somebody's being bitchy and they kind of feel embarrassed that that's the role they're playing. You can see they're holding back a little bit. She let her have it.
Oh, absolutely. And also, I just kind of love the fact that we saw a return to Sue being mean along with her. I don't know if I'm the only person who's watched Glee all this time that kind of wanted the return of truly mean Sue.
Yeah.
And that was what we got tonight with her just basically being like, go after her.
Yeah.
The Glee Club, do whatever it takes.
What's interesting though is she says that she wants Glee Club to win nationals, and she remembers that the only time when Glee Club was good was when she was actually being their enemy and
See,
like instigating.
I don't know that I believe her that she wants them to win.
I think she does in terms of the school getting money and getting funding. She wants all the clubs to win. But to her, second place is first loser.
Yeah.
And I think that she needs to have a backup plan in place, and Bree is her backup plan.
And I understand the motivational fact why Sue would encourage the Cheerios to be mean and Bree to be mean to the Glee Club. But there's a way to be motivational without being mean. And I don't think Sue's methods are ideal in being nice and helping. I get what she's trying to do, but there are nicer ways to go about it.
It's so true. What do you think about Sue? Do you think that she's going to, turn over a new leaf? Are we seeing the return of old Sue? What's going on with Sue? Let us know on iTunes. You can rate, comment, let us know. We love reading them. I know Sarah printed them out and was sharing them around tonight, which is great.
Yeah.
And also, while you're on iTunes, you can rent or buy Serial Buddies, which is a comedy created by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. Hilarious. We love it. I mean, I've watched it now multiple times. Hilarious. My friends love it too. You should definitely go check it out. Beth Bears is in it from Two Broke Girls.
And it's also in stores.
It's also in stores, true. You can go
On
buy the
DVD.
DVD. Old school. Go. Get it.
I love old
Is
school.
DVD old school now?
No,
I feel like
no. I buy everything on DVD. Seriously.
I mean, I still have tons of DVDs. everyone I know is like Blu-ray, and I'm like, I don't know. But
We do what we can to keep up with the times. They keep moving though, man.
But if you can't keep up with the times, it's on iTunes. Go download
yeah,
it.
exactly. You can get it right now on iTunes.
And you can
which
just
is-
rent it if you want to do that, but I guarantee you you're going to want to buy it after that, so you might as well just do the one-time purchase.
After you listen to us, of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, but
Woo. Anyways, so Rachel, going back to Glee, that's such a terrible transition.
oh, it was good. Good segue. I'm with you.
So Rachel, she tonight we saw her be kind of open to more opportunities. She's been so focused on Funny Girl for so long, and she kind of Kurt encourages her to not put all of her happiness on one role, which I think is something here in LA we can all relate to. Like getting that one job, the one role, it becomes super important. And so I identified with that for sure.
This week. That's what this week was for me. You got to get back up, man.
Yeah.
It's like so close and something you want so bad, and just
Yeah.
usually you don't get it, but I guess sometimes you do. This was hopeful.
This was hopeful, and I felt like it was a nice turn for Rachel's character because you know that she doesn't really have the love interest anymore because of Corey's untimely death, but she so she needs something that's positive in her life. And so I felt like by getting the Funny Girl role, she
Annie Bryce.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I felt like perhaps if Corey Monteith had not passed away, she would not have gotten the role, and she would have gotten the boy.
Yeah.
But I think that because he did, they can't make Rachel's characters take too many hits at once.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you went from this week her not getting the role to next week we have the memorial or the episode in memory of Corey,
Right.
you can't have those hits back to back just
Yeah.
in terms of a story. Your character would be down for the rest
Right.
of time.
Right.
Yeah. And they kind of made the struggle kind of funny in this episode because she's, going through the Broadway ads and saying, you know what, I will audition to be the janitor or whatever it was because there's a process to it. You're not going to become a star overnight, and that's just part of the reality of the business, like what you were saying.
Absolutely. What I did love about this is that we got to see Peter Facinelli. I think we didn't mention him last week, and it was fun to see him come in this small, fun little role. I wondered if he did it for his daughters, who may love Glee. I feel like they're teenage
yeah.
girls. Yeah.
With the cake, and I called that when we were watching together. Marissa,
Yeah.
was I not screaming
Yeah.
at the TV?
Yeah.
It's
She
gonna
got
say
it.
congrats! So that was really exciting. I liked the way that the
Yeah.
news was broken, and it wasn't just like a phone call and her being like, ah! I thought that was
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah, I agree. And you knew where it was going, though. As soon as he was in that diner, I was like, she is getting that role.
Right.
There's no way he's going to go and, throw a pie in her face.
Right.
You know,
I know.
especially in this episode where we had the slushy experience. It was just too much.
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering like where he was gonna go with it because he was asking for a whole cake, and we all knew he was gonna offer it to her, but like what did the cake have to do with it, and how was he gonna do it, and then it ended up being so cute.
It was adorable. Yeah, and I loved how excited Santana and Kurt were for her.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Her BFFs were there to witness it.
And we should also mention that Santana got her own little break into the industry, which I know everyone seemed to think was very funny, at least according to all of our texts going
Oh
back.
yeah.
It was
was
excellent,
great.
and I think that first of all, girl, booking a commercial, I know it might seem easy. That is hard work. So
Yeah.
for whatever it's
Yeah.
for, you do your thing.
Yeah.
My favorite line, of course, I like yeast in my bagel, but not in
in
my
my
muffin.
muffin.
Glee can sometimes be a little more risque than you think, and I'm sure there were kids out there that are huge fans of this show that were like, huh?
That was so hilarious because I always wonder about those commercials. Like, I wonder if these actors ever get the question, like, do you have, whatever it is? And
Yeah.
I also have to say that I like when Glee becomes instantly quotable, and you saw that was something that was instantly
Right.
And we don't have oh my gosh, Brittany,
Oh.
Heather Morris
Right.
to be that instantly quotable
That's
person
true.
this season.
Yeah.
And we should also mention that it's in our news and gossip as well, but Heather, of course, had her baby
Woohoo.
this
Yeah.
week, a little baby
Baba.
boy, so super excited.
Big week for Heather and for Naya.
I know,
Yeah.
Naya, breaking news. I think we're going to wait till news and gossip to do that, but
Because people don't know yet.
We'll
still,
do a
I'm sure.
teaser.
yeah.
Teaser right
Teaser,
here.
big news for Naya
big
coming
news.
up soon.
It has nothing to do with yeast infections.
Thankfully.
I hope not.
I even thought.
Be a weird twist.
I know. Apart from like the funny lines, her delivery and the funny lines, it was even just like her facial expressions. Like they picked the most awkward like shots of her like on the swing, like
Yeah.
like the
Awesome.
cheesiest thing
Do you
ever.
know what it reminded me of is on How I Met Your Mother, the like the music videos that Robin's character.
Oh, yeah.
Robin Sparkles.
Yes.
Robin Sparkle.
Amazing. And
Love
it.
it.
Was just like the super cheese ball, but amazing. Like you just want more of it. So
I die for that. I
Yeah.
die for it.
yeah, so good, so funny. Also, Santana got a new love interest. Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah.
Heather not being around this season, in
Another blonde.
another blonde, Demi Lovato, who, as we mentioned last week, X Factor
Is she
judge.
blonde though?
No,
Yeah, I was
not
gonna
really
say,
blonde.
Is she
just
really blonde?
it's dyed blonde.
And
Yeah.
I
she's
really want
now.
her to go dark again. The
Well,
She's
blonde.
actually blue now.
I was gonna say she now
Yeah.
is blue. As
What?
of she did a Tonight Show performance with dyed like bright blue hair.
Yeah.
Did it
so
look good? I
She
think that
looks
sometimes
like a
people
rocker.
can rock
Yeah,
that.
She
it
looks like
looked-
a rocker
It
chick.
looked awesome.
That's
yeah.
kind of cool. I'm into that.
So, yeah, but blonde tonight on the episode. What do we think of this relationship? Like it? Not into it? What's going on?
Here's what I think. I think I definitely could be really into it. I don't really understand how they're already dating, and I feel like Glee almost, because it's a lesbian couple, assume that they can be dating after the first day.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so weird, but I feel like most relationships take a couple dates. This was a walk home and a kiss on the lips, and then Santana called her a girlfriend. If this had been a man and a woman, I think we would have been like, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
But so I don't know whether that's just my opinion or what you guys
Well,
think about that.
I know we talked about this last week, but it's like a mix and match. They're still in that phase of figuring out who's going to be the it couple.
Right.
And I don't know if that's why they're going faster with the relationships. That's the one thing I can think of. Is
But
that
none
they're-
of the other couples were like official the way that this couple, like you can dive into things, but it was
Yeah.
just the fact that Santana referred to her as her girlfriend.
It's-
But
Right.
my thing is that, but if you think about it in real time, I think this relationship we've seen maybe a week of it already. Because if you think go back to McKinley, they've been singing and talking
Still
about
been a
prom
week.
for a week, but things can happen in
And
a
they've
week.
also been, I guess,
guess.
we can assume at the diner together, maybe?
Well, there are whirlwind romances. We didn't get to see the whole, like, falling in love and craziness of it all. We just saw, like what you said, the walk home and the kiss. But I will say that even if it was, like, an unrealistic quick start for the relationship, their chemistry to me is so on point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Undeniable.
To the point where I know that in real life they're actually both straight women.
Yeah.
never mind. News and gossip later about Naya, but watching this, it's so believable to me that they could be both lesbians.
I agree with you. I think that they did an incredible job acting, and I mean, Santana, Naya Rivera, deserves credit for doing it for years. She's been on this show and really shown that she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And with this relationship, though, I was worried with the stunt casting that, like, of Demi. It is a big deal. It was announced over the summer that she was going to do this. That sometimes that doesn't always work well for a show. It feels like, oh, there's Demi Lovato running around. And that didn't feel that way to me in the first episode tonight.
I really appreciate that she didn't try to steal the show.
Yeah.
Not everything she did was overdone and blown out. You know, when she was doing the dishes, she was just doing the dishes.
Because I think we've had a lot of what you would call stunt casting on this show, and sometimes it does overpower the episode. You're like, oh, there, and you can't forget that it's, I don't even want to pull out a specific person, but like we've had Kate Hudson, Neil Patrick Harris, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that even, and we'll get to the performances, but her first song wasn't by herself. It wasn't a solo. It was a duet, and even that wasn't over the top.
It was very understated and beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I hope that relationship continues. I don't know how long Demi is supposed to be on the show.
What did you guys think about the Santana's line when Danny asked her about Brittany and she said, "I love her, but it's over"? That was the first time I had heard that.
Yeah. I mean,
It kind of made me a little sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad to kind of see all these old relationships that all of us Gleeks have come to love kind of ending in, it feels like in a very kind of, there's not a lot of closure there, I guess.
I also feel like that's such a common experience for a lot of people, where there's that relationship where you really do love and care for this person, and that might have been the reason why you stepped away. And so I personally could relate. I was like, preach, sister, I've been there. Like, I know what it feels like to love someone and
know that it's over anyway.
Yeah, know that it's over and that you're ready to move on.
It's true. I mean, there were a lot of relatable moments in tonight's episode. I felt like we had a mix in tonight's episode of really relatable things where I was like, I remember homecoming and this experience, and this is very relatable to me.
Except Roxy didn't remember the campaigning.
No, Roxy was left out in the cold on that one. Sorry, Roxy.
Just 3 points.
We should do a mock.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
A mock election.
Well, you know what? We're your 3 points over here. So.
There you go. If
And
only we were there.
year. Guys, she moved that year from Europe. It wasn't fair. She had edge on me. Okay? It wasn't fair. I was robbed.
Yeah, and then there were other moments where Sue was like trying to go after the Glee Club, where I was like, is this realistic? I enjoy that Sue's kind of returning to this mean side, but that had kind of a mix of like the magic of Glee and realistic high school moments. And I, it's something that we haven't seen. I feel like it's been a little unrealistic for a while. So it was nice to have that return of.
Do we know if Danny's going to stay on for
I know
a few
she
more
has
episodes?
an arc. I don't know for how long that arc goes.
Because another thought I just had too is maybe her arc is so short that they did kind of have to progress the relationship a little bit quicker.
She's busy.
I was going to say, she's a busy girl.
Very busy.
Yeah, if nothing else, she just doesn't have time to be a regular on a TV series for the whole season.
I mean,
she has X Factor.
Right, that's what I'm saying, for another one. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and I know she's doing a tour and albums and everything that
rocking out in her blue hair on the Tonight Show.
She's just doing everything. Girl, get it.
Exactly.
Totally.
And then we had one more new relationship tonight, and we kind of hinted at it earlier on tonight, but Penny, who is the school intern nurse, I don't really know what to call her.
Penny Owen.
Learning how to be a nurse.
Shot administer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Sam, and I thought it was really cute when Sam came in to get his shot. At first he was like super nervous about the needle, and then you can tell it just immediately went over to crushing on Penny.
I love that he did his Brando impression and that she laughed. Yeah. That's the first thing, you know. That's love at first sight. When you laugh at his impression, then it's love.
It is.
I loved Sam's squeamish moment with the needle, especially when he just saw Penny use that needle on something else.
On the sausage?
All that.
What was that about? Like her injecting the sausage?
Well, a contaminated needle.
Talk
Yeah,
about
I can understand.
Talk
Sam.
about scaring a man though, like
Yeah.
injecting someone's sausage. You know, that's
Yeah.
Ooh,
not a
I
good
wasn't. I didn't take it there, Sarah.
Sam definitely wasn't
Sorry.
thinking about that.
so well.
Get your mind out of the
I
gutter,
don't know
girl.
what I was thinking.
Oh, but yeah. See, I was thinking more like she was doing medical training because, like, I know friends of mine who are in medical
Yeah.
school and they like have to do like
Well,
exactly
right.
injections into things that you would never
Right.
inject. And
Let's face it, that would never happen in real life because you wouldn't take an intern and stick her in a school and have
Yeah.
her give.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
well,
say, that would
especially she
be-
didn't have like any supervisors around her.
That's
It was
what I was
just
about to
her.
say,
If you're
that-
injecting literally like medical substance into people, you need to have at least a license or whatever, or some degree or whatever the medical.
There were a couple of things on the show that were borderline illegal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna say just with the nurse in general, being an employee and dancing with Sam at the dance or crushing on him and not having your license to do it, borderline illegal.
Also, that Sue was totally fine with hiring her back. Just like,
Right.
oh, no worries. Like, she did all these terrible things, but we got it.
Yeah.
Like, there was no issue with
Making all of your high school students get shots in the first place, borderline illegal.
that. Yeah.
Well, that's a borderline illegal.
Yeah.
I think that was Glee's subtle way of saying go get your flu shot. It's the fall season, you know. Everyone's getting sick.
Are we getting paid by the flu shot? Because I'm pretty sure you just plugged it.
Well, that's what Glee did.
Sponsorship.
That's what Glee did.
Yeah, product placement.
Yeah.
Let me just pull one out of my bag for you guys.
We can show you the latest in flu shots. All
Get
right.
your sausage out.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I lost myself. Okay. Anyways.
Moving on. Sarah.
You know what I thought was really cute though? Sam, he's like this super, shall we call him overly confident or rightfully confident, conceited, hot guy at the high school, right? And he falls for this endearing, not the brightest girl next door.
I don't think that Sam thinks he's the coolest guy in school, though.
Yeah, me neither.
I think he thinks that he's, like, has a nerdy side and he tries to appear cool and hide that other side of himself.
I don't really think either of those things. I think that he just is not the brightest, and he don't really think he ever classifies himself. I think he just like
interesting.
is what he is.
I agree he doesn't think he's the brightest, but I do think that he knows he's sexy being a former dancer. And like, remember the calendar episode when he was just like all about showing his body
And when he
and
was a
like,
swimmer.
Yeah, that's true.
Naked.
He does, yeah, he has shown it off quite a bit.
And we don't mind.
No. Thanks, Cord.
well, I mean, but my point was like, you know, it's the girl next door. It was kind of like it was so cute. It was an endearing little start.
Yeah, I was
crush.
gonna say, I think it was like an adorable thing if you look outside of the illegal side of it. It was very sweet, and it's something that we talk about on another show that I do here, Pretty Little Liars, a lot, that it's sweet, except for that it's a, like, basically student-teacher, student-administrator relationship. So you have to kind of judge it outside of those terms, I guess,
Well,
or if you can.
My thing is, yes, it was cute for this episode. Will it last? Probably not. Was it needed, though?
I don't know. I feel like Sam hasn't had, maybe I'm wrong about this, I feel like he hasn't had a real relationship in a while.
There was the, I'm not
Mercedes.
well, and he did date Brittany for a while,
Brittany.
season 4.
Yeah, I feel like Mercedes we just got a taste of. Maybe that's why I kind of had forgotten it, because it didn't feel like it was as serious as some of his others have been, maybe.
And then Blaine was in love with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I do remember that. He has had a
They
lot
have a
of
total
interest.
bromance.
There's a lot of interest in Sam.
You know, I love his character because it's just such a funny character, but I will say that maybe we feel that way because he's not a deep person
Right.
in the show, so like it's hard to see him, we haven't seen him deeply connect with anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it doesn't feel serious and
Yeah, I would like to see him jump into I don't know if he's capable of it, but a serious or more long-term type relationship. I guess he was with Brittany for a long time, but it just didn't feel
Yeah.
that serious.
And I liked them together. I thought
Me
they balanced
too.
each other well.
Yeah.
I miss their back and forth dialogue.
I kind of miss Heather Morris. I'm sad that she's
I miss her
Kind
too.
of.
yeah.
More than kind of.
I
yeah.
need her back.
Yeah, it's very. Hopefully, I don't know if she'll ever come back. I haven't heard any news on her, but for now, she's definitely with her baby, which is good.
Well, yeah,
Good for
one
her.
can hope, one
Yeah.
can dream. She'll be back.
Yes, exactly. So, ready to jump into some songs?
Yes.
Jump
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Woo. It was the Beatles episode, or part
Part
two
two.
of the Beatles episode, so we should have lots to talk about here. Started out with Tina, right? Singing.
Well, we got a second of Revolution.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even really write notes about that. It was so fast, and
So
Everyone walked out and she just
sad.
said, seriously?
I thought it was funny because
It
it's
was
like
funny.
because we're like, oh, she actually gets like to like headline a song right now.
Yeah.
It's totally her episode. She's gonna run, you know, for prom. She wants to be prom queen. She's getting her own song. Oh, no, none of that.
we always talk about that underwhelming starts to an episode, like if a song underwhelms us at the beginning. And this song for me, it was too short. It didn't have the right tone to set out the episode.
I thought it was humorous. I thought it was Glee kind of poking fun at itself and
Yeah.
poking fun at Tina, and I thought it was a good
Yeah.
way to begin.
Oh, okay. I like that Roxy and I always disagree.
Yeah.
I love it, girl.
All right.
I like it when Glee kind of acknowledges those kind of things. Like they know that they never give Tina like the
I like
the
things that are
prize and-
self-aware. I have to
Yeah.
say that we talk about summer blockbusters all the time that are self-aware, and Glee is another thing like this that has been in an institution for so long that to allow itself to be self-aware is really nice.
Right.
I agree.
And I kind of think that they're kind of listening to us the fans, you know, what we want to see in here.
Yeah,
Definitely. They do that.
100%. And so moving on to another one, Get Back, which was Kurt and Rachel's song. I really liked this. I haven't had them sing. I felt like it was just like a fun number for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Them dancing on the pianos, it was definitely fun. It's not one of the top 5 well-known Beatles song, but it's
Yeah.
well enough known. And I enjoyed it. And I, of course, love seeing them do the duet. And I thought that it actually worked with the message that Kurt was trying to say to Rachel. So,
Yeah, and I know that Paul McCartney gave them access to the entire Beatles catalog, so they were able to choose among everything. And so I kind of thought it was nice that they didn't go for, you know, I mean, they did do like the Hey Judes and all of those well-known things, but it's nice to get some of the back catalog as well.
I thought the song was good. It was very simple, and I think I wasn't really connecting with this. And honestly, I put not overwhelmed or underwhelming a little bit. But I think it's because Beatles songs are known for being like a boy band, like an ensemble kind of. You have more than one or two voices, and this was just really Kurt and a little bit of Rachel. So I think it was just because it was one person singing a song that's normally sung by 4 people didn't really connect with me.
I think I said it last week as well. I wanted that moment, speaking of the boy band Beatles thing, where like the girls rush in and you have that moment of like, this is the Beatles, and girls like that's like what's so iconic
fawning
about.
over.
Yeah,
you know, the band.
exactly, and like that they couldn't get enough, and we didn't get that again tonight. But they did do a good job with the next song, which was Sam singing Something.
Oh,
I thought it was adorable, and I was like, such
Yeah.
a cute start to a relationship, and Penny was cute with him, and it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't like that I was amazed by his singing or amazed by the, you know, the song itself. I loved the montage. I think that was more what I enjoyed about it.
this wasn't one of my favorites of the night. I thought it was fine, but I wrote a little slow and a little weird. I thought it was cute that all the boys were lined up around the office to
At the
see her.
window.
Right, at the window. That was cute. And I like Sam. I like that he did the solo. I like the song. But something to me was a little off, and I can't exactly put my finger on it.
yeah.
Yeah, the thing that got me was that like him actually floating through the hall. I'm like, okay, that looks a little bit cheesy. The way to enter that song, I don't think that was the best way to do that. But overall, I did like the montage and all the boys. That typical crush on the school nurse, you know?
Yeah, it was just like a sweet kind of, exactly that crush that like felt like a freshman crush to me, more than even like, I know he's a senior now, but that like longing for the girl type deal, like having the freshman who longs for the senior, that type of thing, and they portrayed that really well. in Here Comes the Sun, which I think was one of my favorites tonight.
Love
I was
it.
surprised that it was, but Santana and Demi's character, just so great. And they did such a good job
Yeah,
with
that's what I'm talking about with their chemistry, though. It was like so obvious in this song, the way that they were just longingly looking at each other, but it was also simple in that moment, and you were kind of feeling like you were falling in love with them too.
Right, I really did feel like it was a nice, intimate moment. Again, just because I wrote it down, I said a little too long, but it's too cute for me to care. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, it did linger a little bit because it's a longer song and there was not a lot of action, but the chemistry between the two of them and the fireworks going on, it was just too cute for me to.
I also love the way
Mind.
their voices blended together,
Yeah.
just
that
as
was
singers.
perfect.
That
It was perfect.
Yeah, because I didn't necessarily think Santana and Danny's voice would be perfect together. When I think of Naya and Demi, I don't necessarily think of that blending super well. I don't know why, and it worked better than I ever could have thought.
Because they both took it back.
Yeah.
You know, neither tried to overpower the other, and I thought it worked really well.
It was more about the harmony of their voices rather than, the power of one of their voice outshining the other.
100%.
And it also goes to show that those two actually go well together. And it's a very simple song, too. So I think sometimes it's easier just to start off easy and simple rather than complicated.
Right,
And
and
over the top.
I feel like we usually get these gut-wrenching moments in these songs when they're duets between a couple. You know, they're like big, hard, and this is just like a cute little, Here Comes the Sun, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that was the tone of all the songs almost today.
Yeah.
Like,
This season has been more like it.
Yeah. It's kind of a return to simpler season 1, as we mentioned. There's moments of that season 1 feeling there. But Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, it's a long title, but
they did the traditional Beatles costumes that
it was like a nice
are horrendous on
homage.
them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a nice homage to the band. I don't know that I loved it as a performance for them. It didn't sound like the Beatles. I don't know. It just didn't work for me 100%.
I'm dying. This is amazing. This is my favorite song of the episode. I thought it was seriously incredible, and I like that. I really like when Glee is singing because they have to sing. You know, they're the band at prom, so they had to sing. You know, they didn't have to break into song and have something be the stretch of the imagination. I think Ryder and Jake sounded awesome together, and I thought Unique and Marley sounded awesome together. And I liked how into it they were kind of rocking out, and they made it their own very much so. And yes, it was different than the Beatles, didn't sound like it, but this is something I would download on iTunes.
Interesting, because it was the one that underwhelmed me the most tonight. And I was just like, oh, I wanted to like this, but it didn't work for me. I guess that was the song that ultimately didn't work.
In all fairness, I have it on a mixtape in my car right now, so I've been into this song recently.
Okay, so
It just as a preface.
for
or I
me,
guess after.
I can't pick either side of yours,
Oh,
but
that's sad.
because I honestly was just so distracted by the costumes.
What do you think? Pick a song.
The costumes were just so distracting. I couldn't even hear them because I was like, guys, I get it. It's in the style of the Beatles, what they wore, but it's just not working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marissa?
Tacky.
I think this wasn't my favorite number. Yes, they were having fun on stage. It's prom. But I didn't like it. I think they were trying too hard, actually, and therefore it kind of fell flat for me.
Interesting. See, and the next one, the final song of the night, was my favorite song, Hey Jude, which Blaine started out with Santana, or not with Santana, with Tina and Kitty. This is one of my favorite Beatles songs, so that may
Actually,
have helped.
it's second to the last. We have one more.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the last two were favorites of mine. And I really liked just the vibe that they were doing in Hey Jude. I thought it was a good fit for their voices.
Right, I'm really with you on this one.
Yay!
Yes, win for us.
Go us.
I loved Hey Jude. I loved that they were cleaning off her face, that the new directions were really working together. I liked what was going on. It was interesting. It wasn't so literal, like Here Comes the Sun, although I did love that song, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really well done. I did think it was a little weird that Kitty was going around in that t-shirt and sweatpant thing, which I get why she was, but if you were going to do that anyway, then why didn't you just save her from the slushie?
I was going to say, and also, admittedly, she wouldn't have had to change out of her dress if she had saved her.
Right.
So
Her loss.
we all could have won in the scenario. But also, I thought that the transition, I did love the song, but the transition into it with Blaine singing felt a little forced to me.
Jarring. It was a bit jarring,
Yeah.
right?
I thought Tina did a really excellent job, though, with her. Like, it did not seem over the top, but she seemed to be really in character, so props to the actress for that.
And I love the Glee members' message for this song. And like why they sang it is like if something brings you down or knocks you down, like slushy, whatever that was getting poured on you, do you just go home and cry about it and feel bad for yourself? No, you clean yourself up and still go out there and
Because
rock
you're a prom
it.
queen.
Yeah, it's a great message. It really is.
And you always have a choice.
So be the prom queen of your own life.
And then I loved how flash forward, she goes to the mic and she's like, "I'm Tina Cohen Chang, and I accept you
Yeah.
to be your
I was
prom
Long
queen."
live prom.
Yeah, it was a good message. I did appreciate that. And then finally, Let It Be, it felt like a return to season 1, those big numbers at the end of the episode, and I loved every single minute of it. I was like, this is perfect. I literally wrote perfect in my notes.
I was just so happy that they found a way to incorporate New York and McKinley. I mean, just so we could see everybody singing. They didn't all have to be in one room, but at least they all were in a moment where the song worked, where they worked. We got to see everybody. It was very much an ensemble piece.
Right.
So I was really appreciative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just could find no flaws. I was just like, this is a perfect ending to this episode, especially going into, we're going to talk about it in predictions, but going into next week's episode, which is, of course, in memory of Corey. So,
Yeah.
way to bring down the room. I know. So ready for some news and gossip first?
AfterBuzz
Ready and
TV.
excited.
Woohoo! So do you want to start with the good or the bad? Always a tough
Save
call.
the best for last.
All right. So next week, as I just mentioned, we have the tribute to Corey. And the song list has been released for that episode.
I know.
I mean, it's going to be, so incredible. I think we knew that Seasons of Love was going to be a big part of this episode.
gosh.
So look forward to that. I mean, I can't even imagine them singing that, and the emotion behind it should be
Gosh, yeah.
unbelievably.
So, guys, spoiler alert now. If you don't want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to know the
Spoiler
songs for
alert.
next week.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you. Yes. So Seasons of Love, and then we have Rachel, and this breaks my heart, singing "Make You Feel My Love."
I know.
And it's
Oh,
of
gosh.
course sung by Adele. It's a Bob Dylan song. It's just gonna be so painful, and like if we make it in here without tears next week, we're gonna be doing something really.
I guarantee you there's not going to be one dry eye in the room.
Yeah.
They showed a bit of it in the preview tonight, guys.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. We got to push
keep
through.
going.
Right.
Tell us what else.
So
Yeah.
Can't get through this. How are we going to get through our next week's episode?
Right. So Fire and Rain, which is a James Taylor song, and people are predicting, fans, that Matthew Morrison or Mark Salling will, of course, sing that. I'd love to see Mark come back and be a part of this. They were such good friends. It feels right to me that,
I absolutely think he will.
yeah.
Are we letting them not know the rest of the song?
Yeah, we're going to keep those a secret till next week, or you can go find them on the web. They're available. If you are desperate and need to know them all.
We didn't dig that hard.
No. So that being said, also, Corey Monteith, of course, the official report on his death came out this week. And the coroner is saying, of course, what's been widely reported is that he died from a mix of heroin and alcohol, which is sad and terrible. But they're classifying his death as accidental. So that's what I think widely was expected, but still terribly sad.
yeah, it really still tears me up whenever I stumble across an article about his passing or, watch old Glee episodes. It's just...
It's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, even when it pops up on my iTunes, I mean, we talked about it over the summer, but it's still really hard to hear his voice.
Absolutely. I'm glad that nothing shocking came out of the report because I think it would have been hard for people all over to
Right.
Yeah.
to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much what people had
Right.
heard and expected. But can we move on to some happier news, guys?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was just like,
Because
oh.
next week's episode's gonna be
Right.
bad
So
enough.
we've been teasing this Naya Rivera news all night long. Literally, as we were watching the episode tonight, E! Online reported that Naya is engaged to her lovely boyfriend, Big Sean. Big Sean? Am I saying that?
Sean.
Big Sean. I'm like, I'm saying that right.
Yo.
Big Sean, yes. And they, of course, were first publicly seen as a couple at the 42 premiere. So they've been dating, I think, about 6, 7?
A whole long few months.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 or 7 months,
Talk
maybe?
about a whirlwind of a relationship. There you go.
Yeah, they seem really happy, though.
But
so
I do think
congrats
that
to them.
you can be engaged for as long as you want. That doesn't mean they're getting married tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
And that one is officially confirmed. But we also have a rumored engagement, I guess we can say, on the show. Blake Jenner and Melissa from the show.
Right, which has been rumored for a little while now, and I know some people were pissed at us that we didn't mention it last week, but we try not to mention things until they are confirmed.
Exactly. So this is unconfirmed,
Right.
but they have been dating. I think that's pretty well known. But so Blake and Melissa engaged, maybe look for a ring on her finger. I know all of us will be. So hopefully their reps
Like
will.
a hawk.
Yeah, I know their reps will hopefully confirm.
yeah.
Confirm it or deny it eventually.
See, the thing is, I thought they were actually engaged back in the summer, and then it was like maybe 1 or 2 days before Corey's death, and then his death completely overshadowed that.
I heard that over the summer as well, and then I don't know if their rep just decided that wasn't an appropriate time.
yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure, and it's just never been confirmed. So if you have some amazing confirmation, let us know. And also on happier news, Naya's brother, Michael, got his first NFL touchdown. He plays for the Raiders, and it is the cutest clip. You all should go check it out on YouTube.
So they're both like the most untalented family members ever.
Yeah, exactly. So
Super untalented.
so first NFL touchdown, Naya was there cheering him on. It is such a cute clip. She plays a cheerleader on TV, and she is the best cheerleader.
That's
So
cute.
adorable.
I've seen the little gifs too that just keeps replaying it. She's so cute.
Exactly. And Big Sean, she actually mentioned Big Sean as being her biggest cheerleader, which I thought was such a cute aside to that story. And then, as we mentioned last week, we are going to do a Dancing with the Stars corner every week on our show. And Amber Riley, of course, is continuing on in the competition. She's doing really well with Derek Huff.
We have to talk about her in this corner because we don't talk about her during the show because she's...
I know. But she's back during the package this week on Dancing with the Stars. She mentioned that she had to go film Glee, so we will see her again, and it's amazing. And Darren Criss and Becca Tobin came and saw her at Dancing with the Stars, and she got a, let me make sure I'm getting this right, 24 points.
That's great.
Yeah, which is a
Especially
great...
this early on.
Yeah, exactly. And
Those
she
are
did the
huge numbers.
Charleston with Derek, which was a really fun number to see. Another thing to YouTube, guys. So, ready for predictions?
No.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV.
I'm just going to say we're going to try to keep next week, I'm sure, as light as possible, but it's going to be impossible. So I predict a lot of...
Yeah, I mean, I think
we have to let ourselves feel. So.
I agree. Like, we're going to do our best to keep it together, but, like, it's going to be an emotional episode, and I think that all Gleeks out there, because we've talked about this before over the summer, that it's like saying goodbye to two people. I don't know if we've already said goodbye to Corey, but we're in the process of saying goodbye to Corey, and then next week we're going to introduce saying goodbye to Finn. And that's going to be another difficult
The
step.
Gleeks need this.
I was going to say everyone needs a place to grieve. So
Yeah.
after you're done with the show, I'm sure you're grieving enough, and then you come here and you can kind of let it all out. That's why you can always call in and talk to us.
Yeah.
Or just when you feel like you're alone in this, you're clearly not.
And, you know, we're always on our Twitter, so, like, even if you have thoughts after we're, you know, or while you're watching, we want to hear everything next week. And I just can't even imagine. I feel so much for Leah Michelle in filming this and having to sing and perform under these circumstances.
Yeah.
Unbelievably professional of her to get it done, to have the cast and crew there and return to work. Just can't even say enough good things about her before I even see the episode. So
Yeah, and there was that quick moment in the promo with her crying, and I'm like, oh.
You can hear it.
You can see it. You can hear it.
yeah.
It's going to be real.
Excited is the wrong word, but I can't think of another one for what I am for seeing the episode and how it all comes together and how they really deal with this.
I think we kind of said in the room when we were watching, we're both dreading it and excited to see. Like, it's this
A lot of
weird-
anticipation.
A lot of anticipation.
I'm anxious about it.
Yeah, so
A lot
I
of
hope,
anxiety.
I know that the Glee writers will do right by Corey, and it will be an amazing episode. So please tune in next week. We will be here for you, for every Gleek out there, and we hope that it's, we're not dying in here. So let's, it'll be,
So let's live
let's live and let's remember Corey.
and cheers to Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let us know. You can tweet me at Stephanie Wenger and tweet AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV.
I'm at Roxy Striar.
I'm at Sarah with an H, Mendoza.
And I'm at Serafini TV.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later, Gleeks. Again, guys?
Glee.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.